What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Baitman Live. And we're going to talk about the boring worm, the Senko, the weightless Senko, the wacky rig Senko, the Dinko, the Carolina rig Senko. We're going to talk about all kinds of stick worms. Go ahead and drop a comment in here so I know I can see the comments tonight. If not, I'll have to fix that. What's up, Bobby and Aaron, Tracy, Terry Brown from Wired to Fish? Good to see you guys in here. There we go. Hey, Ray, I can see your comments, so we are good tonight. Ryan Titloff is watching, who is basically right behind me, so that's pretty awesome. What's up, Corey? What's up, Andy? That's right, Bobby. Oh, not a whole lot, Tracy. So tonight we're going to talk about Senkos, stick worms, and that kind of stuff. When to throw them, where to throw them, how to rig them, multiple ways, best colors, stuff like that. We'll go through different brands and talk about differences between like a Senko and a Yum Dinger, other than prices. We'll be talking about Mr. Twister Cometa worm, the Strike King Ocho, which is the bait that won the Bassmaster Classic, and also the other stick worm from Strike King Lure Company that a lot of people don't know about. And I'll give you a little bit of origin of how this happened. Tell you how the Strike King Ocho was named for my good buddy Crispin Pally. What's up, Jason Kidd? What's up, Shay McGuire? Just to recap before we get into it, last week we had the Asian Carp meeting over at Kentucky Dam. My response was in that it's just a bad deal up here. Fishing is definitely changing. Wired to Fish wrote a really good article on the Asian carp. I recommend everybody checking out Jason Seelock's article. What's up, Tom? That's right, Bassmaster Classic 2019, Knoxville, Tennessee. Orange out. Hopefully our men's basketball team will be playing in March Madness at the same time. Could be really awesome. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Ott Defoe, David Mullins, that's my pick. As long as they qualify for the Classic, I'm picking those two guys. What's up, Eric? Hey, Shay. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and mash it. Make sure you share this video out to your friends. Share it in some groups. I know it's summertime. Days are getting longer. A lot more people are going to be out fishing. No reason we shouldn't have 100 live viewers in here. And I really appreciate everybody watching my YouTube stuff. The YouTube channel is growing really big, and for those guys that are going to see this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like. Be up there tomorrow. And after we go through some stick worms, I'll probably answer some questions from everybody. So let's get down to the basics. This is the bait that really started the craze. This is the Gary Yamamoto Senko. No problem, Cody. Appreciate it. What's up, Kevin? The Yamamoto Senko is probably the most popular soft plastic stick worm. As a matter of fact, this is probably one of the most popular colors, and my personal favorite. This is called Green Pumpkin Watermelon, but very basic looking bait. It is literally designed to look like nothing. The legend is, the story is, Gary Yamamoto saw a big pin and told somebody, his secretary, I want a bait built just like this. Find somebody to make me a bait that looks like this. And then the Senko was born. You'll notice it's I'm not really moving it a whole lot. It's got a lot of action. It's not perfectly symmetrical, where if you take this end here and build it, you'll notice this is the fat end and this is your tail end. Eric, I can't tell if it's going to, but it's going to be in the high to mid 70s. Pete, very good statement. You don't work this bait, it works you. The slower you can fish a Senko, the more bites you're going to get for the most part. But one thing that makes this bait really good is Gary has the formula to the right amount of salt in each Senko to get that perfect sink rate. So most of the people on the market are all trying to match the perfect sink rate of the Senko. And if you've ever watched one in a pool, they don't really fall straight down. They kind of do a little bit of shimmy, and then they'll kind of move, a little bit of shimmy, and come on. Ray, I'm going to get into the hooking and everything here in just a minute, because there's so many ways you can rig a Senko. But this right here, the most popular. This is the 5-inch Yamamoto Senko. Well, actually, the Senko does not have a flat side, Jesse. It's pretty much round the whole way. Now, the Yum Dinger has a slight flat side, but for the most part, a Senko is pretty much round. But it's got these little bitty ribs, and that gives it a lot of action. If you've ever seen any rib baits, the more ribs you get, you kind of get that slinky effect. But this is the one everyone strives to be like. Now, I'll go through some colors. Obviously, this one's really, really good. A 5-inch is my favorite. If guys that like to target smallmouth, spotted bass, this is always a really high color. This is your smoke purple, a big time seller. Very good in that clear water, especially up north. A lot of guys fish this smoke purple in the Coosa River, places like that. A good one right here. This is a personal color of mine and what I know a lot of guys like. What's up, Brian? This color is called Houdini. It's kind of bluegill-ish. It's got a clearish bottom, lots of red copper flake. Know a lot of guys that really like this Houdini color, and this Houdini color is really good out west, South Texas, and tilapia lakes. Really good in Florida. A lot of guys like that. I will ask Matt Allen. That's a good person to ask. I could see where you could say it's flat, but the way it rolls around in me, I'm going to say it's round. But definitely has a flatter side tail. But Houdini color is super popular. Hey, what's up, Brian? I'm sorry I missed your call, dude. I apologize. I was out fishing Lake X yesterday, and woo, we spanked them on Lake X, guys. Gonna have that YouTube video up. Caught them several different ways. Now, that's the standard 5-inch. Another favorite color of mine, black with a blue laminate. It sounds really crazy, but this color right here catches them everywhere. Just a straight black on one side, blue laminate on the other. This one's really popular. Your dirty water guys really like this color, and I caught them at Gunnersville really well on this. What's up, Tim? You doing all right? You just been watching the bulls all year. That's all. I get it. What's up, AJ? Black, blue laminate, great off-color water. This is kind of my go-to in the dirtier water. I like this around grass for some reason. They eat this thing. Now let's, and then I'm going to show you the big Senko. And this is a 7-inch Senko. So I'm kind of like this. I either use a 5-inch, or for other purposes, I'll go with this right here, which is the Big Daddy. This is the 7-inch Senko, and I'll show you a couple tricks on this thing right here in just a minute. So let's go with some other company stuff, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about rigging. We've got the Senkos out of the way for the moment. Next big stick worm that's super popular. Why can't anyone carry green pumpkin with green flake in the mag too? That's because it's a special run color, buddy. Special run color, Joe. And they only put it out so much. I think Zoom would have to have 1,000 packs ordered. This is the Strike King Ocho, and this is the big one. This is the 6-inch. This color is called Blue Crawl. You may not can tell on camera, but it's definitely got a little bit of blue hue to it. This has been super popular on the Tennessee River the last couple of years. What's your favorite crazy color for a Senko? It's probably they make one that's like a watermelon with a blue flake in it, and I really like that one. It's not that crazy really, but that's my one. Blue Crawl, this is the Ocho. So very similar design bait. This is the 6-inch one, but it's actually got 8 sides. If you'll notice here, octagon. So 8-sided Ocho, supposedly won the Bassmaster Classic. Got a really unique action when this thing falls. A lot of guys on the Tennessee River have really been using this thing a lot in the summertime and fishing it out deep, throwing it on actually like a biffle head, believe it or not, and fishing it really, really slow. What's up, Chris? Now the name, the Ocho, came from now new product designer and good friend of mine, Crispin Pally. And he was sitting in a hotel room, and they said, man, we have got to have a name for this bait. It's got 8 sides, and it was like the octagon, the 8-headed worm, all kinds of stuff. As he's laying in bed, he's watching the movie Dodgeball, and Cotton says, welcome to the Ocho, and Christmas says, I've got it. Calls him and says, we're calling it the Ocho. And that's how the name the Ocho came. Thank you, movie Dodgeball. Thank you, Vince Vaughn. So, and that's the 6-inch Ocho, and this is the most popular size, the Ocho right here. This is the 5-inch. And this is the size that Jordan Lee wanted on. Right here, wacky rigging this around docks. This color's really popular. This is Amistad Special, a real light pumpkin with some green and black flake. Very popular color right there. Now you can rig these any way you rig a Senko. You can do the same thing with the Ocho. Any of these stick baits, personal preference on what brand you want to select, but you'll be able to rig them all the same way. Wonder how the Reaction Innovation stick worm come about. The Pocket Rocket, I think Jenna Jameson helped them out on that. I'm not for sure. Definitely it wasn't Stormy Daniels. It could have been, but we'll talk about that in a second. So another super popular stick worm, and mostly because of the price, is this, the Yum Dinger. These are $2.99 on TackleFreaks.com. So that's the Yum Dinger. This is my favorite 6-inch color, one of my favorite colors, period. It's called Mardi Gras. So it's like a watermelon with some gold, a little purple flake on it. I really like shad colors, especially around the spawn and super clear water. If you want to fish beds, really like that shad color, Senko. Matter of fact, I'll probably have one tied on next week. But this is the Yum Dinger, $2.99 a pack. It falls different than a Senko. That is proven. However, there are times when they will bite this and they don't bite a Senko. There are times when they'll bite a Senko and they won't bite this bait. But what's cool about the Yum Dinger is it has a little hook pocket right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. And the price point on these is great. For $2.99, you get, let's see, 6-inch. You get 6 in a pack. Yamamoto's, there's like 5 in a pack for $7. And then, my favorite color in the 5-inch, and there's 8 in a pack for $2.99. Anybody can afford these things. Let's scroll back here. Going to Lake Ozarks next weekend, catch them around that docks. Yes, Shang will show you awesome rig here in just a minute. We'll have to open this pack up. Unfortunately, the 5-inch ones, they don't have the quick seal. Yes, Yum has some great colors, Nick. You guys have to log on to Tackle Freaks and check out some of the colors we got. This is my favorite, and they've been making this one for years. It's called Brim. And it is like a green pumpkin on one side, and it's got a lot of blue flake and green in it, and it's got a lot of flash, and I really like this color. I've done really well. Again, the 5-inch, you see the hook slot in there for when you guys want to Texas rig this bait. I really like these. I have used the Bass Pro version. It's really good, but I'm not a Bass Pro shop, so I don't carry their stuff, and quite frankly, I'm not going to promote Bass Pro stuff on the show because I don't want you guys to pay ridiculous prices. But it is a good bait. Then they call it the Sticko. But that's the color Brim. It's like a magic crawl, but it's also a laminate. And I've done really good on this in clear water, in kind of dirty stained water like we got on Kentucky Lake. Not very well wacky rigged. I've always done really good on this just standard Texas rig. That color's called Brim. $2.99 a pack. You just can't beat those. Now another really good stick bait I want to show you guys is the Cometa worm by Mr. Twister. A lot of people talk about Mr. Twister. They make grubs, they make the lizard, they make the pocket crawl, but they also make the Cometa worm. And the Cometa worm is really good. I've actually got several of these. You get 10 in a pack. They're like $4.99 or $4.50. This is an awesome color. It's called Chameleon Candy, and it looks bright purple, but in the pack, it's like green pumpkin. It definitely changes with the watercolor and everything. And that's one reason I like the Twister Cometa worm. Several different colors. They don't have a lot of salt, but they float really well. They got a slow fall, but it's got a lot of action. And then another color I like in that Cometa worm is California 420. Really like this in my grass lakes during the spawn. Some black with a little green on the bottom. That red flake gets them going pretty well. You can bite these things in half, and they make great Ned worms too. The Cometa worm is definitely caught on my Kentucky lake. I know Clint Davis was throwing this thing out on the deep ledges last year and catching them, but man, they hold up pretty good. I like the Cometa worm, very good. You can log on Tackle Freaks. We got a bunch of those on there, but this color right here, man, I'm telling you, this is the deal. It's man, my smallmouth guys ought to buy the snot out of these. I've thrown them and I've caught them. It's even got green and purple flake. This thing's pretty legit right here. It changes color. And we got that in several different baits as well. See what else we got, and then we're going to get into rigging your baits. Someone mentioned the old pocket rocket. This is very unique stick worm. So unlike a Senko or anything else, instead of being thin at the ends, it's fat. My favorite way to rig this, instead of wacky, is actually flipping this bait. This bait has some crazy action to it. It's a good flipping bait. It's good wacky rigged. It's also good on a Texas rig. You can Neko rig this bait too. We'll get into Neko rigging next week. But I've cut the end of this thing off and made it flat. Throw a little bitty light shaky heads on it, and it's got a crazy, it kind of spirals and snakes down. Really good bait right here. Awesome flipping bait. This color is called Payback. It's like a green pumpkin with a June bug top to it. Very, very effective. Definitely unique. Oh, I meant to show this. When I was talking about Strike King, this is the other Strike King bait. This is the shimmy stick. So the Strike King shimmy stick looks more like a Senko than the Ocho. It has the ribs, it has the egg sac, and it's got a little bit of scent on it. A little anise or something like that. It's not quite coffee scent. This is a really popular color. This is green pumpkin chartreuse swirl. My Kentucky Lake guys know about this one, but these are only like $2.99 a pack or something crazy. So how this come about is Walmart. And Strike King talking into Walmart, they said, we want a Senko that doesn't cost $6 a pack. What can you make? And they said, well, we could make something similar. And then the shimmy stick came out, and people really, really like these. And the thing is, then all of a sudden, mom and pop stores, other tackle warehouse, hey, we want that shimmy stick. And so then they're available to dealers. These are really good alternatives to Senko, great price, and a bait that was meant for mass distribution in Walmart's turns out to be one of the best stick baits on the market. I recommend this color. Sweet Tater Pie is really good, and their black and blue has a nice blue firetail. And this is the other bait that many people said, oh, that's a Senko rigged up on Jordan Lee's boat. No, it was actually a Strike King shimmy stick. They look very, very similar to each other. So here's a Senko. Here's a shimmy stick. If you can see, the shimmy stick in my left hand is a little bit longer than the Senko. They're both 5 inches. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of difference. And then the new player to the soft stickworm game is from Berkeley, and I have got to throw it. I know guys who have thrown it, and it's a great bait. Mojo rig, absolutely, man. There's so many ways to rig these. This is the Berkeley General, and no, it wasn't designed by Larry Nixon. This is the Max Scent General Worm. This is their version of a Senko. The Max Scent on here gives, it's kind of like power bait, but it's a little bit better. You'll notice these baits, they feel watery. It's kind of like gulp, but they don't fade as bad. They don't biodegrade. This General is a really, really good bait, and it's got some stank on her. Get a little stank on your General. This is a really good color, watermelon, copper, orange. They got several really good. The Big Baits version is really good, Kevin. It comes with that O-ring inside of it. I don't happen to have those, or else we'd show them off. That's a really good one. There are so many good brands. What's up, Michael? So many good brands of stick worms now. You just it's kind of like personal preference. You find the ones you like, you find the ones you don't like. Stick with the ones you like. Me personally, and John Cruz says this, if I want a Senko, I'll just buy a Senko. But there are certain times that I want that Ocho because it does some things out deep that I like better than the Senko. There's sometimes I want a dinger, you know. The Tiki Stick was a good one from Wave Worm. There's just tons of really good ones out there. Unfortunately, I've only got so much wall space. The Net Bait Senko was really, really good. I liked it. But there's times when they want that weird action of an Ocho. There's times they want the fall of the Senko. And there's times where I'm going to use something like this right here that's not really a stick worm. No problem, Aaron. So this is the 4.5-inch version Robo Ned Worm. And I played with this, and this makes a really good finesse stick worm. It's got that quiver in the tail and the quiver in the head, and you can wacky rig this on some really spooky fish. This will work right here. Yeah, the Grande Lure is good stick bait. Ron Champion, he throws that thing a lot. But just because this bait says Ned doesn't mean you have to rig it on a Ned head. This would be my finesse wacky rig, highly pressured bass right here. Love this midnight color from Robo Worm as well. But let's get into some rigging. I'm going to get me out a bait I can do demos on here. And I'm just going to stick with this green pumpkin all year round. You can throw a Senko when it's cold. I personally like it right now. The pre-spawn, spawn's really good. Post-spawn, I'm going to talk about some ways to rig it in the summer. Not all these stick baits are the same as far as action. With Michael, I'm going to get my pool clean this year, and you'll be seeing a lot of different underwater bait action. We're going to do comparison Senko versus Dinger versus Strike King. It's going to be cool. I've already built me a GoPro rig underwater in my pool. So, all right, let's talk about rigging. The most popular method and most simple way to rig a Senko is weightless Texas rig. And basically, I personally am going to use an EWG hook on a Senko. It's one of the few soft plastics other than a brush hog. I use an extra wide gap hook on it. And this is actually the Owner Soft Baits wide gap hook. All-purpose bait hook. It's not super wide, but for the most part, you see this point goes straight to the eye tie. Very basic, guys. Push this down in here, right to the bar, pull it out. Take my Senko. I'll pull the eye down into the bait to where this little point right here is just sticking in, and then push my hook up through. And then I'll expose it. I will hide the point of that right there. And I've got me a nice straight line Senko. Now some guys, they want it right up here. I don't know if it matters that much, but this is how I like it. If I'm not fishing around a lot of grass or a lot of cover, I'll even take this hook point and I'll leave it right on the edge of the back where it's not really exposing it. I mean, it's right there. But for the most part, I like it exposed. Makes it a little bit more weedless. That is one of the most popular ways to rig a Senko. And I throw it, for the most part, on 10-pound line. And that's right, I said 10-pound line. As long as I'm not around cover. That light line lets you get it out a little bit farther. My rod, I want a medium to medium heavy 7-foot rod. A do-it-all rod. A 7-foot medium heavy is my best Senko rod. You can even go a medium. I just need a little bit of backbone to drive this hook home. Now, the only downside of fishing it like that right there is you have to fish it really slow. You have to wait a long time for that bait to hit the bottom. But there's a hook out there that allows you to do that. And that is this Owner twist lock hook. This is a great alternative for guys that want to pitch laydowns and throw it to visual cover, like the back sides of stumps, and don't want to wait very long for it to be there. So what you can do is, this is like a beast hook, but it's not an extra wide gap. It's more of a round bend, and there's a little weight on there. That's 1/32, I believe, or 3/32. Is you can screw this in right here, just like you would your Owner beast hook, whatever side you want on the bottom, and then measure it out where that hook's going to come. And now you're Texas rigged with weight, and you can fish this a little faster. It's still going to get the nice shimmy down, but this belly weight will allow it to get down there faster. You've got plenty of gap right here to get lots of good hookup. Sorry about that, we went out. You can expose this. I recommend this a lot. I know a lot of guys that use it this way. Just allows you to fish a little bit faster. Joe, we're going to get into that. I promise I've got weightless, wacky, and all that stuff covered. We're going to get into those rigging options. Now, if you're going to fish around some heavy cover, you're going to fish around some matted vegetation where 10-pound line isn't going to get it done. Maybe you're going to throw braided line and you want a bigger profile bait. And I will say that twist lock from Owner, it's even got Yamamoto's name on it. That is the deal. I've got a bunch of these coming probably tomorrow. I think I'm supposed to have a bunch of them in. If you want to go big, if you're fishing Florida, Okeechobee, Toledo, Bend, if you go to Lake Fork and you want to throw this size Senko, all right? Let me show you how to rig this. I've got a special hook for these bigger 6-inch baits. Let's see here. If you're going to throw around some heavy cover, and you got this big old Ocho, because I got a different way to rig the 7-inch. I'm going to go with this new hook from Owner. This is the Owner Jungle Wide Gap. This is built for big baits, heavy cover. This is an even bigger 5/0 hook than the. I'll show a comparison. This is a lot bigger than the soft bait hook, which I really like. So this is a 5/0, and then this is a 5/0. You can tell there's a whole lot of difference right there in those two hooks. This is for much more meatier baits, more heavy cover. So if I'm flipping, or if I'm fishing heavy vegetation, if I'm fishing for janks, I'm going with this hook. Again, go in, and it's got, this isn't a perfectly straight bend. Go into the tip, and this Zoar is super slick. I mean, that's one reason I really like this. Pull her in right there. And now I've got a bigger hook into a little bit bigger bait. And if I want to use some heavy pound fluoro, heavy pound braid, this jungle wire is the real deal. This doesn't straighten. It is super freaking sharp. I love their flipping hooks, and this is for throwing bigger baits and grass. When I want a Texas rig, I'm going to go with the Owner Zoar. If I'm around a lot of big fish, I like that. Now, also, if I'm Carolina rigging this bait, I will use an EWG hook. Don't ask why. It just works. These smallmouth on Kentucky Lake love a Senko or an Ocho on a Carolina rig. And I'll use about 12-pound fluorocarbon leader, and I use 20-pound fluorocarbon main line. And I run about 1.5 to 2 foot leader, so something about like that right there. And the slower you can fish this on a Carolina rig, the more bites you'll get. I will tell you, pull it real slow and then kind of jerk your rod. It makes that Senko go whoosh, and then it stutter back down, and that's when they crunch it. A little tip right there: never underestimate the weightless worm, the stick bait on a Carolina rig. It is awesome. Very simple to do, and when they bite it, I've caught more big smallmouth than my fishing partners Carolina rig, this right here, than almost any other soft plastic. And I usually don't talk about that, but so there we go. We've got the Texas rig down. Now let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about. They want to talk about wacky rigging a Senko. And let me get this wacky tool. I'm getting kind of low on wacky stuff too, guys. This is the VMC wacky tool, last one I got. The O-Wacky tool is really good. Yep, Dakota, I'm telling you, the smallies will eat the 6-inch. You ask Jeff Defew, Dustin Val will tell you, actually they'll even eat the 7-inch. But you don't get a lot of bites. I mean, versus a lizard, you'll get more bites with a lizard, but the quality on that big stick worm is a lot better. So VMC wacky tool right here, very simple. If you don't know how to wacky rig Senko, get you one of these. This is a wacky tool. You'll need this for all kinds of stuff. Slide the bait in there. It's got these little O-rings built on the tool. And I've got so much crap on my hands. Alright. So you'll slide your O-ring up here. And I always put my O-ring right on the sack or the middle of the worm. I want it balanced. Neck O-rigging, I don't put it in the middle. What's up, Mark? So you'll slide your tool up there, and you go, boom. There's a wacky rig. The basic wacky rig you'll take. This is the most popular one. This is the Gamakatsu Finesse Wide Gap. My favorite size 2/0. Red O-rings, I've got them. I like them too. Yes, these are clear O-rings. VMC's O-rings are clear. Those are on the website. They come with the tool, or you can buy the O-rings separate. Case Plastics makes them too. I'm not going to go too big. Yes, double O-ring to wacky rig. It is. I was going to get into that, Michael. Appreciate that. Tip: slide O-ring to back before inserting the worm. That's right, less tears. So, what most guys do, they put this little hook right here, and that is their wacky rig. The only problem with this right here is when a bass comes to bite, okay? You follow me? Bass comes to bite, he's going to get that point, and you set the hook, a lot of times you pull it away from him, because when it falls, it's not falling. Your hook point is parallel to the worm. So what I'll do, let me get my wacky tool here. I'm going to put me another one on, and I'll show you something cool. Going to crisscross this thing, so I'll put this thing at a little bit of an angle. See if I get this right. I've got my O-rings now. If you saw that, they're now crisscrossed. So what I will do is take whatever hook I want to use and see where it's crisscrossed. I don't know if you can see real good on this live video. I will put my hook point between the crisscross and the O-rings. And now, see when I pull my bait and old Big comes to the up, he gets it just like this, right in the top of the mouth. See if y'all can see that. See how it's crisscrossed? That is how I wacky rig a Senko 99% of the time. You're going to use more O-rings, but your hookup ratio will go through the roof like this. Now, I know I talk a lot about neck O-rigging, and this is a great hook. It is not weedless. If you're fishing around rocks, skipping boat docks, fishing up north for smallies, that's the way to go. However, a lot of guys have grass. A lot of guys like to fish shallow cover. And Mr. Terry Bolton, I want to thank you for that. And this is the VMC weedless Neko hook. He let me know about this hook last year. Said, man, you need to try it on a wacky rig Senko. And I did. And it's awesome for a Neko hook. He said this little straight shank will catch them. This is This is a very small size. This is a size 2. Very light wire. I like this for spinning gear. I don't throw a Neko rig on this, but again, it's got this fluorocarbon weed guards on there. The eye is solid, but it's built for really small line. You'll see the eye tie is really small. If I'm going to throw it on a spinning gear, and you put that right through the crisscross, whoop. Sometimes it's hard to see. There we go. Got a little bit longer shank. It's not a true circle. Yeah, they are hammers, but I've got the all-time Lake X record, so they'll have to get away from that. I've got that on them right now, anyway. But that is the number 2 size, and that's the Neko hook from VMC, but it's super versatile. And this hook is awesome. A lot of guys have gone to this style hook even for their wacky rigs. Now, say you want some weight on your wacky rig. There's 2 options we can go here. Number 1, we're going to go a nail weight. We want to weight this thing down just a little bit. I'm going to leave that hook in there because now I'm just showing some weight. This is a VMC Neko weight. Works great in Senkos. These are $3.99 for a pack of 10. This is a 1/16 ounce. I can slide that in as far as I want. If that's as much weight, I can slide that in. Then I'm going to get that Senko to kind of be a Neko rig. But I can do it in both sides and have even more controlled fall. If I'm going to put a weight in the tip, usually I'm going to cut this tip off like so. Use your teeth. Shorten my Senko. Now, and then I cut the weight with my side cutters. I can get a really heavy fall Senko. Now, Nick, that's a great point, man. I was fixing to show that off. Let's go to a more traditional hook. I love the VMC hook. That's my favorite, but there are some other good options out there. I'll get these. This is, if you want to fish around a wacky rig under some really heavy cover, I like these. The Wicked Wacky from Gamakatsu. We're going to have to... old Senko is getting a little bit of he's hurting. So the Wicked Wacky has a really unique bend to it. It's almost like the G-Lock Gamakatsu tube hook. You'll notice it's got this really crazy weed guard right here, but you can spread this thing out really, really far. And again, take your Senko, however you want it rigged on these O-rings. And so as you pull it along, these right here are going to deflect the cover. Works really, really good. Heavy cover, light stouter hook on this than some of the others. I really like this. Now, let me get a different Senko here. Let me get the old Strike King shimmy stick. I'll take my VMC wacky tool, put this shimmy stick on here, and I'm going to show you another way to weight these. Boom, that ring's on. This is the Eco Pro tungsten wacky weight. And what you do on this thing is first you open the package. It is a very good drop shot hook, Jesse. And that new owner cover shot hook, whew, you can do some wacky rigging with it. So this little guy right here, I actually put it right behind my O-ring. If you can see, here's this. It's got these little things that screw in here. You can shove this guy right up into the middle. Sometimes it's hard to do, sometimes it's not. And you see where it's coming through here? And so what you can do is then you take your wacky hook and you go through there, and now you've got this wacky weight on the center of the worm. And it works really, really good. And you actually, I missed it, but it's got a little hole up there that you can get that on. What's cool is the package shows you exactly how to do that sucker right there. But and you can actually turn that the other way, and that's another way to whack it. So basically, once this is inside your bait, it goes like this right here. You know, your Senko's in there below. It works really good. But I recommend when you do this, see, there's that. You can turn it this way, or you turn it that way. If you turn it this way, your hook has no choice but to go through there. And you don't have to really even use an O-ring if you don't want to, because that holds it in there. My eyes are getting really bad, so there you go. So now I've got it directly connected with the weight there. You can see I can pull it and it won't come off. But you can turn the eye of that for whichever way you want the hook to face. So anyway, what's up, Brandon Marshall? What's up, Joey? Guys, if you're watching, make sure you give this thing a share and a like. I'm going to go through some other hooks really quick. We just went through the Wicked Wacky. This is more of a heavy gauge wire hook. The VMC Wacky hook is really good. These are like $2.99 for a 6-pack. One thing I want to show you that I like about the VMC hook is, and you can see on the package, it has a solid eye here. So you're not going to get any eye that comes right in there. And that they used resin to close that eye. So it's really, really nice. It ensures that the line doesn't get caught up in here. A very stout hook, and the price point's great, $2.99 for a 6-pack. They're sharp. I think the owner hooks are sharper right out of the pack, or they hold up longer. But price point wise, man, you can't beat these. And then this is the Finesse Weed Gap hook. Oh yeah, bluegrass is good, man. I got some, Nick. Got to put them on the website. But this hook's very popular. A lot of guys use it. And I can't get the freaking package open. But if you see this has got a little cool wire, and you bend it down, and makes this really too many options. I'm confused. There is no reason to be confused about a Senko, Michael. Here's what happens with fishermen. They see my videos, they see Andrew Flair's videos, they see Tactical Bassing, and they go, man, I'm confused. There's so many options. Let me just be honest. Throw a wacky rig, put your favorite wacky rig hook on it, and go to town. Or rig it weightless on a Texas rig. Paul, we need to go, man. All you got to do is holler at me. I got to work like 10 straight days, so I'm not going to be doing any fishing. But use what you got confidence in. If you've always caught them on a Texas rig, Senko, throw it weightless. As much as I love these videos, most guys are only going to pick up 1 or 2 things that's going to improve their fishing. I'm just going to be really honest. They're going to go, huh, I never seen how to rig a Senko like that. I fish a Senko all the time. I'll try that. And boom, they catch a few fish. That is what most guys are looking for. Now, there are beginners, and beginners are probably like, man, I'm overloaded. Where do I start? Always start simple. And as you get better with simple, add a few more tricks to your arsenal. So when a guy comes in the store, he says best way to rig a Senko, and say wacky rig or Texas rig, weightless. Just throw it out there and let it sit. And that's the way to fish a Senko, slow and simple. Once you've mastered that, then go on to putting nail weights in there, weighted hooks, and all that stuff. And that's kind of how I started with swim baits. Go out there with swim baits, put 5 on your deck. Put some 6-to-1 reels on there, fish slow, and that's all you got to fish, and fish till you get a bite. Once you've kind of figured that out, then go, well, I want a bull shad and all that stuff. Master one technique before you try to master all the variations. You ever put the Neko weights in the Texas rig to help with some fall? Yes, yes I do. Any kind of nail weight. I don't use like the mushroom head weights. I'll be honest, guys, you can go to garage, whatever, Shoparama, all that places, and you can get some nails for cheap. But the only problem is they're so small and you got to weigh them out. I like the VMC ones because they're cheap. Lunker City makes great nail weights. Tungsten nail weights are really good. But I'm going to got a few more rigs to show you guys, and I'm going to show you the rig I like to call the Dinko. And the reason I call it the Dinko is it will catch a ton of dinks. But if you need that one, if you're fishing Lake Cumberland on the FLW Tour in 2021, or any place they got a 12-inch limit, and you just need a 12-incher, and I've caught a lot of fish on the Dinko rig around a boat dock, when you just need that bite. If you're on a spotted bass lake, this is what I call the Dinko rig. I'm going to have to open a brand new pack of these Picasso shakedowns. This is a Senko on a very light shaky head. This is the Picasso shakedown. It is 3/16 ounce. And then I take me a shimmy stick, a Senko, whatever I want, and I'll rig that sucker on this little bitty shaky head. And this works really good on 4-inch ones too. I throw this on bait cast gear, believe it or not. Got to push that spring so it gets started. That's the only issue I have with the Picasso lure shaky heads. The spring's a little small, but it's got such a good sharp hook in it. Get this spring loaded and started and screw up the end here. This is what I call the Dinko rig. Man, that right there catches a ton of fish. It's very lightweight, great on rivers, great around boat docks. When it's 95 degrees out and you cannot get a bite, the Dinko. Also, if you want to throw in some bedding fish, that right there. A lot of guys say, man, that hook ain't big enough, it's only 3/0. I've caught a lot of big fish on this shaky head, and the reason is that light wire, super sharp, and it penetrates. But they bite that Dinko up here because this Senko will kind of stand up and do some crazy, it spins when it's going down. But the Dinko rig, one of my favorite ways, if I want to catch fish, use whatever shaky head you want to. It will catch some janks. This right here is the Dinko rig. 4-inch Senko is dynamite on this thing. But I like the round ball head. I don't use stand-up heads. In fact, if you've seen some of these stand-up heads in a swimming pool, you'd never buy a stand-up head because half of them fall sideways. If it falls straight down perfect, it will stand up. But when it hits a rock, it turns over sideways. I just stick with my round ball. I like that 60-degree line type Picasso. That's my favorite shaky head, make no doubt about it. But I'm the guy, I don't throw a lot of big heavy ones. So that's the Dinko rig. When you need a fish, remember the Dinko. Really good on clear water lakes. Using really small 4-inch Senkos and stuff. Now, my boy Matt Bryan's going to get really mad at me. And this hasn't been that great the last couple of years, but this is a 7-inch Senko. Let's talk about the Magnum Dinko rig, because it does not catch dinks. This is how you catch some Magnums. This is just a standard where you can use whatever football head you want to. You're going to need at least a 4 or 5/0 hook. Is take a 7-inch Senko and take it on a big football jig head and rig it up just like this. Just push it in, keep pushing it on to your football head till it turns out. That right there is the Magnum football head. Cut the weed guard out. You can go behind people on ledges, on drops, on humps with this thing right here. And you want to talk about a crazy action. When it falls, it's just like, it literally does this. It has this weird spin to it. But you can sit there and shake that Senko, and that big tail back there is just kind of doing this. But a lot of guys stroke this thing and go, and come back and fall. My bud Matt Bryan, he went about a year going behind people and smoking them on this, and they go, what in the world are you throwing? And I think somebody saw him buy them like this and figured, we called it the big turd. And the big turd to catch them. So, you know, you hear the bullworms and stuff like that. You can rig a toad on that also, yeah. Weedless, it works, but that is the 7-inch Senko, and this gets big bites. You're not going to catch a lot of little ones on this. You're going to catch big ones. Any kind of football head you want, that's the Picasso. So, but anyway, guys, we're about over for the night. I'll take any other questions. And if you're not watching now, you're had to miss, you can watch it on YouTube tomorrow. I'm actually going to go download this after the show. Any other questions? Yes, those are good, Nick. Those are really good. I like those. I need to get those on our website. We've got a few. Guys, I'm still uploading more stuff to TackleFreaks.com. I appreciate everybody that ordered the Jackal Grinch. It's going to be, I'll have some more about the 25th of the month. We got more new products going up every day. Appreciate all the business, all the messages, the YouTube stuff, man. You guys are awesome. Going to upload a video from Lake X. Yes, sir. I love fishing a big Senko in a brush pile, Dakota. I can't give away all my secrets. We need to go fishing, Dakota. You need to come up here. Let's go, man. I'm ready. Take me to the brownfish. But, guys, I appreciate watching. We'll try to have a giveaway next week. We're at 4,500 subscribers, somewhere around there on YouTube. I'd love to have 5,000 by the end of the month. Not a jig show next week. We're going to talk flipping baits. We're going to talk about beaver baits and flipping baits. And it's going to be awesome. But look for Lake X coming up on YouTube this weekend. And if you guys still like the top 5, top 10 list, we're going to keep going. Also, I'm going to show you how to buy a $99 reel bait caster, the best one on the market. So, guys, you guys have a really, really good night. And I hope to see you guys next week. And God bless and have a good day fishing.